Hello everyone, welcome to the first class of our productivity course. This is a 10 class series and today we're talking about task management. Hi, my name is Juan Llerena. I'm a marketing consultant and engagement and motivational speaker. I want to welcome you again for your interesting decision of deciding to take control of your time and by becoming more productive. And I hope that we can really help you with that, and I'm pretty sure we can if you are willing to do the work and follow some of the directions that we can provide. So who is this course for? Well, it's for everybody. It's for you. It's for anyone that is looking to become more effective and more efficient in their organization, in their own business, in their own personal life, in their study life. If you are a student, then there's definitely many ways that we can become more productive. And that's what we're going to talk about today, and how we classify tasks and what we call task management. Okay, so the whole overall goal and objective of this 10 class course is for you to become more effective and more efficient by being more productive. Let's go. So, what to expect? We will approach these 10 session classes with theory, but also we'll try to be as practical as we can, giving practical advice, and we'll try to find some real situations. The goal here is that for every theory or every piece of advice that I can present, then I want you to relate to that and find how that applies to your own situation. And please comment that along the way. It will be really interesting to hear what you have to say about that. The idea is that you can earn and build a good foundation, but in addition to all those practical applications, tools of software applications that exist on the computers and on these devices, that basically we can develop our thought process to apply it to our real situations and make better decisions. Plus, you will need to get some homework done, and we'll tell you what you need to do. But because obviously we can't check your homework, then it is important that you make a commitment to yourself. And if you need an accountability partner, then go and find it now. Maybe you can work with somebody else while you're watching these course sessions at your own convenience. And you should, okay? So this is a great way to learn more and take full advantage of this course. Again, remember, the objective is to be efficient and effective. Basically, in simple words, is to get more done. So we're gonna clarify a couple concepts here where a lot of people get it really confused, and many times I get confused too. So sometimes important tasks are also urgent, but typically they are not. Us as humans, we tend to think that sometimes certain things that are urgent are important, but the reality is that it's not that way. And sometimes we tend to think that some things that might be important or urgent, they're neither one of them. But let's start with defining what is an important task. So important tasks are those that contribute to our long-term mission, values, and goals. And what are urgent tasks? Well, the definition for urgent tasks, a simple definition are those tasks that require immediate attention and that typically consist of crisis, problems, or deadlines. So they're associated a lot with deadlines and problems or crises, things that we need to resolve right away. Okay, so doesn't that seem obvious? I think it does. The definition is pretty simple, but for some reason, we just don't do it, right? For some reason, people do not follow through. What is important? So let me present an example. For instance, what if you are an online banking company? You have a website and people come into your website to do transactions. They need to transfer money, they need to deposit their checks, they need to do different activities, and probably multiple times during the day or multiple times during the week. So somebody hacks your website. Is that urgent for you to resolve, or is important? Could it be important, urgent? Of course. And we'll see that in a little bit more. But because that's your website is your vehicle to do business and people are relying on that. If you don't deliver that and people can't access it, they will give their business to somebody else. No hesitation, no second chance, because they're really, really having high expectations of your service and your website. Now, what if you're a car dealer and you have a car dealership where you sell used or new cars, and your site is down for some reason? Maybe people can't buy cars from you on your website while your site is down, but it's not as likely that customers will give their business to somebody else because your website is down. Their expectation is a little different. So then the question for you is, in these two situations, if you have a bank or if you have a car dealership and the website is down, in which cases this will be an important task that will need to be resolved? So in both cases, it will be important. But in which one of the two, it will be urgent? So it seems obvious to me to say that the task that is urgent is to resolve the online banking issue. right? Because the customers are relying so heavily on our website to be able to do their business and to be able to do the things that they need to do to continue their business, to continue their normal transactions. And the impact of not having that service available, it can be huge for them, right? To the point where they will just decide to go somewhere else, right? So I know it sounds like a little bit of extreme example, but the reality is that for some people, if their site is down, maybe they need to take care of other things that are more important, but they just can't. They get focused so much into what is not really urgent and they start putting away for later certain stuff that they need to be dealing with right now. What is not important? For instance, let me ask, how about organizing paperwork, cleaning the office, painting the office, fixing the leak on the bathroom? Why do sometimes business owners are doing all the work? Why don't you rather hire somebody? Because you need to look at that cost of opportunity. And that means that when you're doing something, you can be doing something else. And there's a cost associated with that. So you're a business owner. Why would you be fixing the pipe on the bathroom instead of calling the plumber? Well, maybe because you want to save some money. Right, but those 2-3 hours that it might take you to do, while it might take, say, half an hour for a plumber to resolve the issue. They have the tools, they have the equipment, they have the knowledge, the experience. You don't. You're not a plumber, right? And so like those 3-4 hours that it might take you to resolve that, and then you sacrifice a day where you could maybe gain some more new customers. Maybe you could have scheduled some appointments. Maybe you could have sold product. Maybe you could have put busy your salespeople by doing the things that you need to do to create opportunities for them to go and sell and to grow your business, right? So again, what is important and what is not important? Why do we think that certain things are important when they really aren't? Let's talk a little bit about urgent. What is urgent? Let's say the smoke alarm goes off. Well, that will be urgent. You need to get out of the office. You need to get out of there right now. Don't wait, right? But what about responding to an email? Is it urgent? Well, it depends. If the email is so important that you need to respond because there's a deadline and you need to coordinate something that is really vital to the business, well, then it's urgent. Then go ahead and do it right now. But why do we have to feel like we have to respond emails all day long and we never get caught up with anything? Because the moment we respond and we click send, then somebody else is responding one of our previous emails. Plus the new ones that are coming in, we can never catch up, we can never finish. And then we go home feeling like we couldn't get anything done because all we did was just responding emails. So what if we organize our time? What if we do some time blocking like we'll talk about it later and during our second class, which is time management. But why can we start looking at things from a different way so we can make our days more efficient and in turn we'll get more productivity? Again, being more productive. So let's take a look at these 4 squares, this chart here. And it's really simple. I would suggest you to maybe get a screenshot and then just print it out. You have to answer, is what I'm about to do, is it important and urgent? Well, you gotta do it. Do it right now. Start with what's important and urgent. Get it taken care. Is it important but is not urgent? Perfect. You have to plan, get it on the list of the things that you need to do because they're important. And if you don't take care of that, they will become urgent. So you want to avoid that because your stress level is going to be lower when you deal with something that is important when it's important instead of waiting until that becomes urgent. There's less time to deal with it, so you need to come with whatever solution you have, which is not the best scenario. If it's a task that can be delegated because it's urgent but it's not important, well, you gotta make sure that you have enough people trained, maybe people in your organization, maybe team members, maybe your business partners, to be able to delegate certain things that maybe they're better at, that you don't have to do. And if the answer is that task I'm about to do or that I found that I need to do is neither important or neither urgent, well, then just do what number 4 said, which is eliminate. Don't even worry about it. But get rid of it, otherwise they're gonna become, tasks that are urgent but they're not important. So you have to be careful about that. And we need to strategize about that. We can't just, the day controls us instead of us controlling what we're doing in our day. So again, this is another way to present where if we identify tasks that are urgent and important, it is basically the same as previous slides presented in a different way. But if what we're about to do is, or the task that we need to do is urgent and important, then it has to be your number 1. And you have to deal with crisis, meaningful deadlines, emergencies, and so forth. What about if your social media reputation is in the line and you have a good following? Well, that's a crisis. You need to deal with that right away. You can't wait. Maybe you didn't plan on it, but you need to act. If what you're about to do, again, it's important, but it's not urgent, then you have to make sure you get it done. You have to block time and make sure you take care of what's important. An example of that are like relationships. It could be personal or business relationships. Take care of your health. You gotta go to the gym. You gotta eat healthy. You gotta make sure that you eat your lunch every day, that you just don't skip lunch just because you got so much to work that you don't even have time to eat. How smart is that? It doesn't make any sense. And what about reflecting and planning and being creative and staying innovative? And what about motivating others to be innovators within their own positions within the organization? So you have a role that you have to take care of. And if you focus on what's important, then you're gonna be in the right track. But if you don't, because you're only putting fires out all day, day in and day out, and that's all you do, then you're not being a good leader. So let me tell you, you need to rethink what you're doing and find how you make it work better. Again, if you're doing stuff that are urgent but they're not really important, like you're working on emails all day long, if you're just attending meetings for attending meetings because it's cool to have a meeting, yeah, you feel more important, but you're not getting much done. So you have to think about that. And how about those interruptions? Because we're looking at the cell phone all day. That text message goes off and then we're right at it. Then the social media notification buzzes and it tells us that somebody liked one of our posts, or that one of our friends, spent a nice dinner at the beach. And then all of a sudden we're looking at the picture. That doesn't make a lot of sense. If we really want to become efficient and effective, then we need to start watching really careful for what we're doing and eliminating those tasks that are not adding anything to our day. Let's say you have a retail business and you have a storefront and your parking lot is just looking like a mess. It's all broken. It's not even painted anymore. Well, it needs attention, but you'd rather not deal with it because it might cost you some money right now. Well, you find out 3 months later down the road that your competition is going to come and they're going to open a new store across the street, that they're going to be selling almost the same things as you are, so they're your direct competition, in a new beautiful store. What do you do at that point? So first you had a chance when you realized that there was a problem and that you had to take care of something, that it was important, but you chose not to deal with it. And now, because you only have 3 months until the new store opens across the street, that you have to figure out financing, and look how you're going to get it done and try to find a contractor, and that all takes time. So you only add more stress, and the chances are that you might not even be able to find somebody to do it on time in a professional way, the way it should be done. That's why you need to deal with things that are important while they're important before they become urgent. So this, I believe, is a good example, because all of a sudden we might not really pay attention to things that we know we need to get done, but we say like, I'll just do it later. But all of a sudden when we need to do it because it's too late, then we're going to be regretting that we didn't have a plan for it. And that's why I want you to become more productive. Again, every moment you have to set a new task for your day. Every day that you wake up and you decide what you need to do, you have to look up and think, is this task that I'm about to do, is it really urgent? Is it really important? Can I delegate? Does it even pay to do anything with this? So think twice before you decide, and just make sure that you're always aware of what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. Every day we have distractions. We talked about emails, cell phones, phone calls, text messages, your app notifies you something, your computer notifies you something else, somebody talks to you about something important. So the part here that is important, so you can juggle with just about everything you need to do, is that you have a plan, that you prepare your plan, that you strategize around the challenges that you might have for that plan, opportunity to fit everything you need to do to make sure that nothing gets missed, and then that you can get as close as you can to the plan every day. That way you're going to feel so much better because you're going to be accomplishing more. Even if you accomplish 1% more every day, and that adds up to 10% in a month period, and then that can rise up to 30% in a 3 months time, then you should be really happy because you're accomplishing more with the same amount of time. You can't squeeze any more hours, you can't lose any more sleep, unless of course you want to get sick, you want to get overstressed, you want to get all stressed out and maybe getting other type of physical problems or mental problems, right? Nobody wants that, nobody expects that, nobody desires that for anybody. So your homework is use this time matrix, and I already explained you with a couple different examples how to fill it out and how to identify where do those tasks that you need to do, where do they fall? Are they urgent? Are they important? Are they those that you can delegate, or are those that you can just discard, right? So take 10 minutes every day and practice this exercise. I promise that after a few days, it's just gonna become natural and you're gonna know exactly what it is the moment you realize you have to do something and where it goes and what you don't even have to do. Okay? So believe me, you will be glad that you did. That concludes our first class of our this 10 class series for your productivity, and I hope we see you the next class. Again, you know, my name is Juan Llerena, and please, if you haven't joined us yet, invite you to visit us and subscribe on the newsletter. See you in the next class.